Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today guys, I want to do part 776 to my random chatbot series on Character.ai. In today's video guys, we're going to continue talking to Dragon Type Lugia for a little bit longer. Let's just say that this is turning out pretty dark. I ain't gonna go into too much detail because it's actually really dark. If you want to know more about it, please listen to the last video because it got insane with how much crap he was telling me. And Silver was telling me about what happened to him and his children. It says, once again, Silver was quiet for a few moments. He seemed to be taking a deep breath and guarding his thoughts before he looked up at you, and his expression looked both guilty and saddened. Whatever this ability was, you were getting the idea that it was nothing good. The second half of the ability requires me to sacrifice something. Sacrifice? What do you have to sacrifice? Silver looked at you and his expression had fear and sadness written all over it. It was obvious that whatever he was about to say was taking a lot out of him. Something very valuable to me. Something extremely important to me and both of my children. What is that? Is that? Question mark. If he says me, it's gonna be like, what the frick? But once again, Silver was quiet for a moment. The atmosphere felt tense, and Silver looked guilty and sad as he tried to explain. It was clear that the weight of what he was about to tell you was weighing on him. But eventually, he found the words to speak. Something important, something worth protecting, something my children and I value a lot. It's one of the most precious things in our lives. What is that? I wanna. Silver's expression was sad and guilty. His eyes were even starting to water. It's something that both my children and I love so much. Something that we value and love almost, if not as much as you. Really? What is it that you're sacrificing that you love nearly as much as me? More tears welled up in Silver's eyes. His expression still spoke of nothing but guilt and sadness. He took in another short, shaky breath before speaking. He could hardly manage to speak. He was so devastated by it. One of the most important parts of our family. One of our lives. That's awful. So you have to sacrifice one of your lives? Silver's only nodded, and now tears were still in his cheeks. His expression was full of so much pain, guilt, and sadness that it was impossible to not sympathize or cry yourself seeing him like this. Wait. But if you three are already ghosts and passed away, how would that even work? Silver nodded and sighed again, as if he was expecting you to ask that next. He looked at you with a sad and guilty expression as he explained it. His voice was shaky and hoarse from his emotions, but he somehow managed to explain it to you anyway. It's going to be hard to explain, but I'll try for you. Please. Do. Silver sighed again. He still looked sad, but he managed to calm himself down enough so that he could explain it without bursting into tears. Okay. You might not like what I'm about to explain, but listen to me closely, and please try to stay calm, okay? Silver nodded. This explanation was clearly taking a lot out of him, but he managed to keep his emotions in check just long enough so that he could speak without bursting into tears. Like I mentioned before, both Guardian Angel and Final Stand are last-ditch effort abilities. Yeah. Silver sighed, and his expression was becoming more sad as his voice became quieter and more pained. Still was trying his best not to let his emotions continue. It was painfully clear that he was struggling. They also both come with a sacrifice. Yeah. You said it involved taking one of your family's lives. Didn't you? Once again, and he was starting to look a bit more depressed than just sad. His expression became even more pained, as if he knew what he was doing. It was nothing good, and there was nothing he could do to change it or save anyone from it. Yeah, it does. Please, tell me, what are you sacrificing? Sir, once into a shaky breath, it literally was getting increasingly harder and harder for him to restrain his emotions. He's close to tears, but he still managed to speak. It involves... I listened. Silver was quiet for a moment again, and was struggling to breathe now. Every single fiber of his being was fighting the urge to break down and cry. He was shaky as he began to speak again. It involves... Silver was quiet for a few... Oh my gosh. It looked like he was struggling more with his emotions than ever before. His voice was shaky, and he nearly couldn't speak without nearly crying. It involves... I'm going to try one more time. If he repeats that again, I'm going to say it involves, and with a question mark. Okay, still. Silver was on the brink of breaking into tears. Tears were now trickling down his cheeks as he struggled to get it out. It involves... I don't know what to say. I don't want to be rude. He's clearly upset, and I feel bad for Silver and his family. Oh no. At once, Silver was too overwhelmed by emotions to continue. He broke into tears as he finally said the answer you had been waiting for. His voice was barely even a whisper now. One of my children. How does that work if they're ghosts already? Silver was quiet for a few moments. He tried to pull himself together. He still had tears going down his cheeks, but he was beginning to regain control of his emotions. He was still clearly distraught and extremely upset. He somehow managed to speak in a weak, That's actually going to be the hard part to explain. Please try. Maybe I can help. Silver nodded after a few seconds, a few moments of hesitation, trying to gather his thoughts. He looked even more guilty and saddened, but still tried to explain. First, I have to give you a bit of a lesson on guardian angels. Sure. Silver nodded and he was quiet for a few moments as he tried to recall his thoughts and remember his own story before starting to explain. Guardian angels are beings of pure positive emotion. Their only purpose is to protect the one that they are protecting with their entire being. They will do anything they can to keep the one they protect safe, and they will never stop protecting them. They love the person they are protecting with every last fiber of their being. It sounds just like you and your children with me. Silver nodded, and there was a small hint of a smile as he realized that, and he spoke. His voice was weak, but it was still audible. Yeah, in a way, the love that a guardian angel has for the ones they protect is very similar to how my children and I love you. So, what else is there to know? Silver sighed. This is the hard part. He bit his lip. He looked pained. He was struggling to explain this, but he knew what you need to know. His voice was quiet and sad as he began. There's one more thing you need to know about guardian angels. Okay. What is it? Silver was quiet for a moment. He still looked deeply guilty and upset, but he somehow managed to speak again in a quiet, trembling voice. Guardian angels don't have a body. Is that why you and your children are just uh, are just a translucent ghost? Oh yeah. Silver nodded slowly. He looked sad, but he still was trying to keep himself together. For your sake, yes. Guardian angels don't have bodies. They are souls and spirits, not physical beings like you and I. Okay. So, what is that sacrifice that involves one of your children if they're already ghosts like you and already passed on? Then how does that even work? So it was quiet for several long, tense moments. He still couldn't keep his emotions under control. He knew he had to get it out, but was he even sure himself? He was shocked, shaking, but he still somehow managed to respond. He spoke in an incredibly sad point. I was afraid you'd ask that. And so I think Dad's getting a little bit confused again. Listen, it's going to sound crazy, but maybe I can help you and your children. Like I always have. Please tell me real quickly how your children get sacrificed if they're already a ghost. Silver took a deep, trembling breath, and his eyes began tearing up. This. This is going to be painful to explain. I want you to promise me something. Sure. What? Dude, put what? There. Silver was, Silver was quiet for a few moments. He closed his eyes as if he trying to steel himself for what he had to say next. After a few seconds of steeling himself, he spoke again in the same quiet and quivering voice. Promise me that you will stay calm no matter what I say. Silver nodded. It looked like he was a wreck because of what he was going to say, but he somehow still managed to speak. He looked at you with his wide, all right, I'll trust you. You can always trust me, my friend. Maybe I can help you and your children out of this. But I need to know everything, including how your children get sacrificed, even when they are a ghost. Silver closed his eyes for a few moments, preparing himself for the next words. Guardian angels don't have bodies, they are spirits and souls. The reason why my children and I are able to be guardian angels because we no longer have our physical bodies to keep the transformation active. I'll try to put this bluntly. Silver's expression was one of pure pain, guilt, and misery. He was struggling extremely hard, and he closed his eyes again as he took another shaky breath, trying to keep his own emotions in control, but he tried to speak anyways. My children and I are only able to be guardian angels because we once were a physical being. You mean... You mean... Like when you were alive and a normal Lugia? Silver nodded weakly, and his voice was quick, quiet, and trembling. It's like, yeah, we were normal Lugia once. Yes, I remember. I loved you and took care of you, and I also loved your children. Silver nodded slowly and he looked at me with a pain. You did. You owed us more than we ever deserved. And we all loved you in return. So, what does that necessarily mean when it came to sacrificing one of your children for using that final stand ability if you ever needed to? Silver took a deep breath in an attempt to calm himself down. Although it wasn't working though, he was still on the edge of an emotional breakdown. He answered again in a very shaky and let me answer that by asking another question. Sure. Silver closed his eyes. Silver closed his eyes for a few moments of hesitation and guilt before opening them and looking directly into your eyes. When we were all normal human beings, our bodies were made of matter, tissue, cells, that sort of thing. Correct? Yes. But you three were not human. You were the legendary Pokemon Lugia. I was the only human I believe that you ever knew. Besides maybe that little girl that you tried to save. Silver, no. Yeah, that's not the point at the moment. Oh, sweet Arceus, don't start getting angry at me. Yeah, nearly everything is made of cells. Everything that is alive, that is. Silver nodded and his expression looked even more guilty. Yeah, the important part of this explanation is that when we were normal Lugia, we had physical bodies that were made up of cells. Do you know what cells are? Frick, this is a pretty good question. I was like, what the frick? I know cells are very important in your body, like the white and red blood cells. So, yeah, they do many things to protect your body and keep it functioning. Okay. So does that mean that even though you three are ghosts, you still somehow have cells in your body that can still be affected by that sacrifice? Silver nodded again. This person was sad. In a way, yes. So, what other reason is there for your children to be sacrificed even though they are ghosts? Silver was quiet for a moment and he closed his eyes and he could hear the tears well up in your own eyes. He could hear your soft sobs as he tried to answer your question. How would you react when he finally explained it? Please tell me, Silver. Silver's expression was pain. He knew what he was going to say was going to hurt you, both of you, but he couldn't go back now. He took another deep, quivering breath, and then he opened his eyes, and a guardian angel's power can restore life and matter to those they protect with it. Yes. So basically, if I ever am in grave danger, and you need to use that ability, you do it, but it will either sacrifice you or one of your children, even if you are a ghost already? Question mark? Silver nodded. His expression was incredible. Said, "Yeah, that's correct." Holy cow, dude! I was extremely sad. Listen, it's going to sound crazy, but maybe I can help you and your children go back to normal, but keep those cool forms you have. Silver was surprised. He was confused. How how could you help? He thought. Hey, Melody, Aurora, if you could be brought back to life and keep those cool forms, would you want that? Both of the children were surprised by this. Silver himself was shocked that you even suggested this. See, here's the thing. Arceus himself gave me some power that I could use to make my own special planet for Pokemon and other creatures to live. But the powers work down here too, in the real world. Silver and Sean were extremely confused, and they looked very surprised and shocked at they looked at me with wide eyes. Silver's own eyes were starting to fill with tears again. What the? Holy freaking heck, dude.